It's Ken's Hockey Podcast for Thursday, April 13th, 2023. I decided to take a look at hockey. We're getting to the end of the season. It's getting to be the second season, as we refer to as hockey fans, where it's a long playoff run, and playoff hockey is some of the most competitive, just gut wrenching, just effort all over the place. Like hockey's a really fun sport to watch in the playoffs. I mean, most sports are, but hockey especially, because it's so long, because it's a battle. Now, so we're approaching the end of the season, and they're finalizing some team standings, and some teams have already made the playoffs and are resting guys and stuff like this. But just take a look at what the algorithm is doing based on who's playing and not playing. It's got Boston crusting, just absolutely walloping Montreal, as it probably would. So Boston's an incredible team this year. It has an extremely close game here with the Rangers in Toronto barely being edged out by the Rangers, like 2-2 tie that goes 3-2 or something. There's Detroit and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay barely winning this game, but the goaltender matchup favors Detroit, so it makes it very, very close. This is the game I was talking to my son yesterday. We were talking about maybe going to this game tonight, and I I decided against it. He was pushing me to go. It's like fan appreciation night, last game of the season. I was like, here's the problem. We're gonna show up there, and while it is a Caps game, and he's been to a handful of Caps games, they've never lost when he's been to one. And I got a bad feeling about tonight because it looks like Ovechkin's probably going to stay out. We'll find out right as they announce lineups. But you'd have to buy the ticket beforehand and then find out Ovechkin's not playing. So you can't even try to add to the goal total probably. Oshie's out too. Yeah, everybody, like a lot of people out on Washington. And the Devils, I think maybe still jockeying for some type of playoff spot or something that they're in, I believe, but who knows? It probably means more to them, even if it doesn't. And so just Washington just having trouble this year. Just didn't make the playoffs the first time. So I decided to pass on it. But yeah, you want to see them win. I don't know if they're going to win tonight, but they might surprise you. Blackwood's going. I don't think Jersey maybe has to win. Pretty sure they're in regardless. Winnipeg's resting a ton of guys because they're already in. So half their team is resting, which is why they're a huge underdog against Colorado, which is probably still jockeying for some position too. So maybe. St. Louis and Dallas. Dallas is in, but probably jockeying for position, which is why they get this minus 275 line. And St. Louis is out. Minnesota is resting everybody and playing Gustafsson. And Gustafsson has a better rating than Marc-Andre Fleury. So the Minnesota wants to put Marc-Andre Fleury as their number one guy, and it looks like they've named they're representing him to start the playoffs and probably do what he can do until he starts letting up some soft goals. But then it's going to be Gustafsson, and that makes them a really dangerous playoff team because Gustafsson's rating is one of the best on here. I've been watching him. He's been stopping shots and keeping things under and really coming through. So there's a reason why his rating, is much higher than Marc-Andre Fleury's, which is only a 64. Marc-Andre Fleury, I checked it. It's only a 64 if you look in the goalie stat here. Right. Anyway, point is dangerous, interesting setup there with goaltenders probably swapping out, I think, at some point, or definitely playing both of them in the playoffs. Philly-Chicago game is two teams that are not making the playoffs. Anything can happen. Tough to predict. Says Philly wins there. San Jose gets walled by a minus 500 Edmonton. Edmonton probably jockeying for position, going with Stuart Skinner tonight, it looks like. Should put up 6 goals as McDavid does try to just blow past records and chase goals and assists and everything else. So there you can see where your extremes are on here is Boston and extreme Edmonton. And I mean, that's just the way the algorithm is putting things. And when you're wagering, especially, I believe from history, it's good to focus on the extremes because the closer games are, like a Philadelphia-Chicago game against, two teams that aren't making the playoffs, anything can happen here. So it's like you don't win it most of the time. You win it 50% of the time, like you're supposed to. These types of games, you can probably, you're going to win more at a terrible line, but you can try to play it more with Edmonton, like scoring goals or something, or playing with the extreme that it is representing. LA and Anaheim. LA would beat Anaheim. LA still maybe jockeying, also getting a bad line here from Salgan. but that's another one of the fairly close to extreme ones, which is LA, Edmonton, Dallas, Boston. Unfortunately, the Devils against my Caps. Let me keep going. Vancouver, Arizona. Barely Vancouver, also two teams not in the playoffs, though, could go either way. And then Vegas and Seattle, straight up tie. And I think they've also probably secured playoffs. And I don't know how much positioning is determined by this game. And that's probably why it's also looking like a toss up. Versant against Grubauer. So predicts a tie because it doesn't know what's going to happen here with who's playing. All right. Now, that's your look at NHL. I do enjoy watching hockey, and how can you not watch some hockey tonight? Maybe we'll sit and we'll go watch the hockey game in a sports restaurant or something like that. Those are always fun to do on the last night of the season. At least you get to catch the game that way. But as for that, that's your NHL update for the day. Good luck. May all your picks be winning, and may your playoffs be enjoyable. I can guarantee that will be the case, and you'll certainly have some really entertaining hockey. Good luck. May all your picks be winning.